is approaching Baldonnel, flying out from the east, out of that low cloud a few minutes ago, and will be landing shortly at Casement Aerodrome. The airplane is piloted this morning by Group Captain Tim Hewlett, who is in charge of the Queen's flight, and I understand it's his last engagement, it's his last mission before he retires. Flight BAE 146 from the 32nd Royal Squadron approaches now Baldonnel Airport with Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh on board, and their entourage. The plane will shortly touch down for the start of this royal visit.
Yes, of course, Prince Philip has been to Ireland before, and he has had apparently a very jolly time. He has met President Arives, because, of course, the Duke of Edinburgh's award is linked with Ondoshka, and so he will be fulfilling some a duty towards that when he's here. But this is the first state visit, of course, it's quite different from the private.
So the plane now has touched down, it's on the ground, and will begin to taxi towards the arrivals area at Baldonnel.
The family got into an awful lot of trouble over their reaction to the way in which they dealt with the death of Diana, and they raised the Union flag and lowered it to half-mast. In recognition, I think, of the public sentiment, but the sovereign standard never flies at half-mast.
So as soon as the flight touched down, we understand that it's popped out through it.
Yes, they raised it.
Aperture.
Yes, as soon as the flight touched down.
So the plane there, you can see, is just coming to a halt, and we understand there'll be just a little delay.
Mr. de Valera did at one stage ask to have the harp taken out of the royal standard in the 1930s, because he did say, you know, that he made his point. It will be interesting to see what Her Majesty wears, I think. Her dresser is Angela Kelly, a wonderful woman, a Liverpool Irish lady who has really changed the image of the Queen over the last 8 years or so. She's put her in much brighter colours and much more, much more stylish, basically.
So the Guard of Honour, you can see there, is moving forward to take up its position on either side of the red carpet. The door has been opened and the steps have been brought forward to the plane. That's Captain Kevin Phillips, who's commanding the Guard of Honour this morning.
Heraldic point, I should say, rather than ceremonial.
And the government represented this morning by Thomas David Gilbert. So the Queen now wearing green.
Emerald green. That's a very optimistic and tactful ensemble, I think, isn't it? And Angela has chosen that for her, I think, for this day.
So Queen Elizabeth begins her visit to Ireland. You can see her there greeting those who've assembled to meet her. As you saw there, Dave Ash and Thomas, Duke of Edinburgh there is with her.
There were some letters to the newspapers talking about whether people would curtsy. Of course, only British subjects courtesy. No, nobody who's not a British subject would do so. And even among British subjects, it's considered to be now perhaps a little old-fashioned. Some people choose to do it still, but it's done less than it used to be. A sort of respectful nod is regarded as a polite way.
It's the sort of thing that British people get very upset about. You know, I'm not curtsying to the Queen. I don't think the Queen is that bothered one way or the other.
Apparently not.
She doesn't worry too much about it, but most people will nod their head and then they shake hands.
We've seen now Rachel Fox, 8-year-old Rachel Fox from Shankill in County Dublin, from Shankill School in County Dublin, is presenting the Queen with a posy of flowers. That's a moment to remember for Rachel, I should think. And she gets a few words with the Queen.
I think she's wearing this blue dress underneath the emerald ensemble, and I think that's an interesting combination, because of course St. Patrick's colour is blue, actually.
The officer commanding the escort, Captain Laura Keane, inviting the Queen to accept the army escort.
You said lost people,
I
actually.
think you're right. And the escort will now assemble to transport the Queen, to accompany the Queen rather I should say, on what will be a fairly short journey because there's no traffic lights to stop or anything like that, from Ballydonnel into Dublin City and here to Arives and up the Rhone.
Of course, her grandfather, George V, stayed there, and one of the, I think it's the West Wing, was actually, no, sorry, I think East Wing was actually built to accommodate him, and President McAleese was speaking in London 2 or 3 years